I guess I should unmute myself. I'm going to start over. It's all sorts of. It's Friday. It's like a Monday morning, but it's Friday, and I've talked and muted and everything else. Um, so welcome to the second episode of the other half. Again, I apologize for being a little bit later than we had intended. That was another user error on my part. This is real life live streaming, but we are so excited to have our guest tonight on the other half, where we talk about us, other half women, as we approach the start of the back half of our career. And a few things before we get started. We are live, so feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and we'll try to get to those as they come. And if you want to make sure not to miss an episode, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Today's guest is Margaret Vitrano. Margaret and I have known each other since we were 3 years old, and we've shared a lot of adventures together, playing tennis early in the morning before school, going to elementary and middle school together, taking some fun trips in high school into Boston. She showed me where the Cheers bar was in Hartford. And while Margaret and I have known each other a really long time, we honestly don't talk that much about our professional lives. So this is going to be great for me to see her, even though I've caught her being interviewed on CNBC a few times, which is super cool to have a friend on CNBC. So Margaret, welcome to the show. And can you start by telling the audience a little bit about yourself? Oh, wait, hold on. User error 2. Hold on. Okay, you're good.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see you, Wendy. That's the good thing about us all being at home is we can virtually connect because you being in Kentucky and me being in New York, we never see each other enough. So my name is Margaret Vitrano now. I live in Bronxville with my husband and 2 kids. And professionally, I run a large cap growth equity portfolio. So it's called the ClearBridge Large Cap Growth Strategy. And I've been doing that since 2012.
Which is super, super cool. Um, okay, so we have a few questions that I wanted to cover tonight. One, I'm going to start off with, and it's the same that I started off with Jean, but I think it's a really good question, is what do you attribute your professional success?
Hmm. Um, a little bit of luck. I think anybody who doesn't admit that life is full of good luck and bad luck, and I've had some good luck turns that have helped me in my career, for sure. But I think I kind of stumbled on a certain career path that was my passion, and I don't know that everybody's lucky enough to find something that they're really passionate about. But I was, investing and trying to figure out something about stocks that I think I see that everybody else isn't seeing is a pretty cool profession. It's always humbling. There is no I'm perfect at it. I'm always learning new things. But it's a great feeling when you're right and you think, you do see something that not everybody else is seeing. And so I think when I stumbled into that as a career, I've just kind of stuck with it because it's a really fun career. So I think I got really lucky because I found something that really got me juiced. And I think about this when I talk to my kids and I say, I don't really care what you do with your lives, but if you can find something that you're passionate about, you will be so fortunate because you're going to be spending a lot of hours working. And if you can spend those hours doing something that you actually like, at least parts of your day, that you are blessed. So I think it's that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I 100% agree. It took me longer to find my passion than you, but I agree. The passion is really important. It makes even the
Well,
bad
I had
days.
some right hand turns along the way as well.
Internships are good too.
Yeah.
So if you could go back to your younger self, And I am one that doesn't believe in, I think every experience is a learning experience. But if you could go back to your younger self, what advice would you give her?
I think if I could go back to my younger self, um, I would encourage her to take more risks. Because if I think about when I've grown professionally and personally, it's been when I stepped outside of my comfort zone. That's easier said than done, especially to an insecure 13-year-old in Kentucky. but but the more you can do things that are uncomfortable, the better, right? I mean, moving to New York was such an eye-opening experience after living, growing up in Kentucky, because there were so many careers that I'd never even heard of. I'd never heard of a career in sell-side equity research. I didn't know what that meant. I had actually never met a consultant before. I didn't know what that was. And so moving to New York was kind of really eye-opening in that regard. Or going back to business school. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I went to business school, I met so many different people from all over the world who had such varied backgrounds. They were so different than I was. And
Yeah,
then you had to figure out how to work with them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that was a huge learning experience for me to try to figure that out. So that also means you fail more, right? I mean, you were talking about growing up, and I remember us trying out to be cheerleaders when we were seventh grade. One of us made the team and one of us did not. And I did not.
well,
So,
I knew the coach. She was my babysitter.
all of your face some too, but the more you can take those risks, I think the better. My husband always says to me, he said, if you don't try, you're always going to wonder if you were able to.
Yeah,
And you have to try and be okay with the failures.
yeah, yeah. I think that's great advice. And I do agree it's easier said than done, but I think
It
that's
is
great
easier said than
advice.
done. That's why you need somebody else to tell you.
Yeah. Um, so you're a busy wife and mother and professionally. What is your number one sort of productivity tip or tool that you could get others that are trying to balance all their priorities?
I'm a list maker. I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
list maker. I feel like, especially in this day and age when there are so many emails that come in, there are so many texts that come in, there are tweets to see, there are, Teams collaboration chats and Zoom meetings, and then you have scrolling headlines of what's going on in the news. It's just a lot of information overload. And I feel like sometimes you could spend your whole day just cruising around all of the pieces of information that are coming in at you, and not really get anything done. So I try to always have a list. And if I can get one or two things on my list checked off every day, then I'll feel like I've accomplished something. So I'm a big list person. I've tried to give that skill to my kids and they don't like it so much, but, but it does work.
Okay, that's awesome. So you were talking about your kids. Um, do you feel like your work style changed after you had kids? And if it did, in what way?
I think before I had a family, you know, my coworkers, that was partially my social life. My
Mm-hmm.
coworkers were my friends, and the office environment was part of the culture and part of my social existence. So, we would work long hours, but that was okay because we all had dinner together and they were my friends. Once I got married and had a family, it became different because then work was work. I wanted to be efficient at work so that I could get home to my family. And so I think my days are a lot busier, a lot more structured and jam packed with back to back meetings or calls or things to accomplish. Everyone at my office will say I'm the fastest walker in the office because I'm always kind of running around from one place to another. But I leave work, at the same time almost every night, and I will not respond to you from 6 to 9. So I can carve out some time. So I just think it's made me a little more structured, to try to fit everything that I possibly can into a day.
Yeah, yeah. Good advice. So I'm just curious if you have any advice to people that might be interviewing for a job right now, or any tips you might have for interview candidates when you're interviewing for an opportunity?
Hmm. I think I think eagerness and interest goes a long way. So, don't be too cool for school. Don't be afraid to say you really want the job. Do your homework. It's interesting because as simple as it sounds, it's flattering when you're interviewing someone and they say, "Wow, this company's really great. I'd love to join the company." But of course, everybody wants people who are excited to join the company to join the company. So show your enthusiasm, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that is really important. And the other is that I know when I'm interviewing people, I look for people who are, I always say it's intellectually curious, but I think the real point is that you always want someone to join your organization who wants to keep improving, right? Who
Yeah,
doesn't just want to punch in at 9 and punch out at 5, but who does their job but may want to think about ways they could do their job better, or they may
right.
want to think about their career advancement, or they may want to. I do investing, so I always want to hire someone who always wants to say, well, I know we said we want to buy stock X, but what about stock Y? Maybe stock Y is better. Let's keep relooking about that. Or now that something has changed in the economy or in the stock market, maybe stock X isn't really right for us. Let's look at that again, and let's keep kind of asking again and again and again so that we can make sure we have the right answer. So it's that. It's kind of that enthusiasm and passion to keep asking and doing better.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. So you talked a little bit about taking risk, but I'm just curious, what makes you scared or uncomfortable, and how do you overcome it?
um, don't laugh, but I do not like speaking in public.
Well, then, thank you,
It
Margaret.
wouldn't
This
be
is,
for just
thank
anyone.
you. I appreciate that.
I'm pretty much of an introvert, so I don't love being in front of people. I think, but I remember when I was younger, I've always had that feeling of just kind of being more comfortable alone. And so I signed up for this acting class thinking it would help me get over that fear. And instead, it just made me really scared every Monday and Wednesday when I was about to have a class. So it didn't actually solve it. But I think for me, the answer has been just, you know your audience. I'm talking to you, so that's easy. It's easy to talk about subjects that are personal, and just try to think through what you want to say. Try to think about calming yourself down. Always have water at the ready. Um, so little things like that probably help.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I wanted to share just a few old pictures of us, some older than
God.
others. So this is at
Oh
my,
my goodness.
it's at a milestone birthday party, number not to be shared, um, uh, in New York. And you were nice enough to come. It was super fun. I think that's the one my sister put together. And now we're going to go backwards. So this is our ninth grade graduation.
Oh, Wendy.
If we zoom in, there
Oh,
we
look.
are. I, of course, am way taller than anybody else, but that happens.
Oh
Um, and then
gosh.
this one was making me super laugh, I'll be honest, because most of my yearbooks are at my mom and dad's house, but for
Mhm.
some reason, the sixth grade yearbook is at my house.
Oh wow, Wendy. Look, we're on the. Oh wow.
And then your little note about me
What?
being a good tennis player. It's so
Oh,
nice.
to a very nice girl and a good tennis player. Oh, Wendy, we should have a rematch.
Oh God, I haven't played tennis in so long. You would
Oh,
for sure win. Um,
that is great. Oh,
well,
Wendy.
I'm gonna see. I don't think we have any questions. Um, so I'm just gonna say thank you so much. If people want to reach out to you, is
Sure, sure,
LinkedIn the best
sure.
or
LinkedIn, perfect.
so Margaret will be tagged in the LinkedIn post, so you'll be able to find her profile. And if you want to see the next episode, feel free to connect with me. And I really appreciate you listening in. And Margaret, thank you so much for being
You're
my
so
second
welcome.
guest. I love seeing your face and catching up.
I still see that second grader. I feel like I still see that second grader.
You know, it's so funny with Barack Obama having his book out, all these pictures of him have come out. He looks exactly the same as he did when he was like 5.
Yeah.
So it's funny how, yeah, your looks don't change that much. But
Mhm.
anyway, well, I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank
Thank you,
you, Wendy.
Margaret. It's so good
It's
to
great to
see
see you.
you. And thank you for the great pieces of advice.
Bye.
Bye.